Indiana getting into the multi-billion-dollar game of sports technology. How the state is leveraging its reputation as a premier host for big-time events beyond the playing field. Plus,
a record-breaking grant from the Lilly Endowment will change the landscape here at 16 Tech. We'll have that story coming up in the Business of Health.
And crisscrossing the state to find some of the top places for Hoosier cuisine. This month's Trendiana takes you to Indiana's can't-miss worth-the-drive restaurants. Inside Indiana Business is next.
From Indiana's business news leader, this is IBJ Media's Inside Indiana Business with Gary Dick. Presented by Elevate Ventures and Indiana University.
Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick. From automobiles and steel to food and pharmaceuticals, Indiana has built a reputation as a manufacturing mecca, one of the top states in the country for producing things. Today, Hoosier workers are adapting to the ever-evolving world of technology, preparing to take on innovative jobs in the world of electric vehicles, semiconductors, artificial intelligence. One of the sleeper industries, perhaps Indiana looking to cash in on, sports tech, an emerging sector that is revolutionizing how fans and athletes, teams experience sports.
Imagine you're at the baseball field and you see your favorite player walk up to the plate and they smack the best home run you've seen all game. Wouldn't it be so cool to be right there next to them and feel that home run?
Edge Sound Research, one of dozens of companies getting a boost from Sports Tech HQ. It's an initiative launched by the Indiana Sports Corporation in 2021 to attract sports tech startups to the state. The sports tech market expected to surge past, get this, $100 billion globally over the next 5 years. Sports Tech HQ Executive Director Jeffrey Hintz is here now to break it all down. And Jeff, thanks for being here. This initiative, I think, is one of the most interesting initiatives and one that makes great sense. You've got great sports ecosystem here, an emerging tech scene. You're basically putting the two together to try to attract jobs and investment.
We are. We've got an incredible, all the ingredients are here in Indiana, all the way back to over 100 years ago when the Indianapolis Motor Speedway was built. And that was built for innovation. And here we are 100 plus years later and really leaning into our sport economy, as I call it, and leaning into tech because we have to evolve as a community. And we've had great success. We're attracting companies from all over the globe here at Indy.
Let's talk about the traction you're getting. You launched in 2021, as I said, but really getting visibility now. You were really the presenting sponsor, I think, of the Indy Classic at Gainbridge Fieldhouse last weekend, where you announced a big partnership with Purdue University. Talk about that.
We did, yeah. So Purdue University has a program for sports engineering. It's called the Ray Urey Sports Engineering Center. They have a world-renowned materials and sports engineer that's on their staff, distinguished Professor Jan Anders Monson. And he has booted up the Ray Urey Sports Engineering Center. And really what that is going to do is train the next generation of minds to enter the market and help these companies that we're bringing from all over the world. So that partnership is all about collaboration, bringing companies to them to help them iterate product design and their services, but then also unleashing the talent that we have here in Indiana.
I know they're relocating that center to Speedway in the Delora, right?
That's right.
Delora Center. Talk about some of these companies. And I know I think you brought an example, amazing cutting edge technology. This is one of the companies you're talking about, right?
It is, yeah. This company went through Techstars Accelerator here. We've been doing that for 6 years. This company will make any watch a smartwatch.
Just with that disc?
Just with this disc. So I have my smartwatch on today. You have your analog watch, right? So this has micro suction. It'll stick to the back of your watch.
Okay.
And then it will pair with an app, and then you can track all your stats.
Wow. And that's just one example. Again, dozens of companies are already here.
That's right. Yes, exactly. We've got about 37 companies that we have in our collective, some of which were already here when we started. One of those is Telemetry, a company in Noblesville. They work with 45 teams in the NFL and the NCAA all around data analytics and helping teams better perform on the field or on the court. And they're here. They've been here for 10 plus years. A few other companies, you mentioned Edge Sound Research. That is really an experience that you have to sit down in one of the seats. They actually can turn any substrate into a source of sound. Wow. Through vibration, and so they replicate what happens on the court or on the field, and they put it in the back of a seat. So they're in Gainbridge Fieldhouse now. They're at IMS. They've done a project down in Bloomington. with Assembly Hall and Memorial Stadium.
This is a global initiative, right? You're going to be going all over the world to attract companies here. What do you offer? What do companies get from participating and being here?
Yeah, the biggest thing, Gary, is relationship capital. Because of the network that we have here, when I start talking to folks from all over the world, and we talk about Indiana, that's one thing we're doing out in the world. All the organizations that we have based here, including the Pacers and the Colts and the Fever and the NCAA and USA Track and Field, USA Gymnastics, USA Football, American College of Sports Medicine. Once you start talking about what we have here, the biggest thing is relationship capital. But really, working closely with the IEDC on using entrepreneurship and innovation as an attraction to the state. People have a choice where they live now and where they grow their business. And Indiana is a friendly business community.
All right. I know the industry is looked at as a maybe $100 billion industry in 5 years. We're going to keep tabs on this because I know you're very excited about it and others are as well. So Jeff Hintz, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, growing the state's sports tech scene is part of an ambitious 5-pillar strategy unveiled by the Indiana Sports Corporation to make Indiana the global epicenter of sports. The Sports Corporation's Vision 2050 also includes continuing to attract big-time events here, focusing on academia, business, leadership, and also women's sports.
Clark, the flick ahead. Oh, what a dime from Clark. And Jones lays it in. A gorgeous pass from Caitlin Clark.
The goal to make Indiana the women's sports capital of the world. Recent signs things are moving in a positive direction. Indianapolis will host the 2025 WNBA All-Star Weekend next summer. And news just this week that Fishers will host the Pro Volleyball Federation All-Star Match in February at the new Fishers Event Center. Well, Indiana innovation in the biosciences taking a big step forward. How Lilly, Indiana University, and 16 Tech are partnering to pedal to the metal on life science research. That's when we return. Well, a history-making grant is helping Indiana University throw its weight behind making Indianapolis an even bigger hub for the biosciences. Business of Health reporter Kylie Valletta is at 16 Tech with details.
Thanks, Gary. The $138 million grant is the largest ever at IU, supporting research and development. It also means IU will be moving in at 16 Tech on this area right behind me, building a massive new state-of-the-art facility.
The record-breaking award comes from the Lilly Endowment, IU's largest research grant ever, building the biosciences in Indiana.
This is game-changing, I think, for the city of Indianapolis and the state of Indiana. Our larger vision has been to make Indianapolis the national hub for all things life sciences.
The $138 million grant will create the IU Launch Accelerator for Biosciences, or IU Lab for short, a center dedicated to turning research into real-world impact.
From the early days of a potential student all the way to companies being ready to graduate and move and have big headquarters right here in Indianapolis, and everything in between is now going to be inside the IU Lab.
A 6-story IU building is now in the works at 16 Tech. The Innovation District aims to make it easier for entrepreneurs to grow their companies, and that will also be the mission of the IU Lab, giving industry a direct connection to the entire IU enterprise, the School of Medicine, IU Health, and the newly minted IU Indianapolis campus.
With this facility in 16 Tech, IU is bringing all of those resources together under one roof to make it as easy as possible to translate basic research into the types of products and services that are going to drive patient outcomes.
The IU Lab will also house education programs to grow the local biosciences workforce. Kruger says a major public investment like this one is often a precursor to private investment.
It brings the land available in 16 Tech to 30%, which is under development or under contract. So what that also signals is significant opportunity ahead to develop in 16 Tech, and the facility from IU is going to be a further catalyst and driver for the ongoing development of the 16 Tech Innovation District.
IU's new home here at 16 Tech will have space for everything: research, education, and a business accelerator. Gary, back to you.
Exciting times at 16 Tech, indeed. Thanks, Kylie. Well, still ahead for you, changes in the air at this iconic Central Indiana landmark on the campus of Butler University.
Time now for our Eye on Education, brought to you by PNC Bank.
We begin this week at Purdue University Northwest, where enrollment growth is fueling plans to house more students. Purdue's Board of Trustees approving a plan to build a new 3-story, $29 million residence hall on its Hammond campus. Purdue Northwest has had a student wait list for housing since 2022. The new dorm expected to open by the fall of 2026. Big news at Butler University. Butler announcing a multi-phase $9 million expansion of Clues Hall. Renovations include adding suites on each level, new loading docks, and stage upgrades. It is part of the creation of the Midtown Arts District. That's a key element in Butler's $500 million Gateway project, which aims to connect the Midtown neighborhood with the university.
We're doing everything we can for placemaking, right? So that this is really not just a traditional undergrad residential university, but this is a place for people to come for the athletics as they do at Hinkle, for the arts as they do at Clues and our venues, and obviously for the academics. But it has to be accessible.
Clues Hall expected to be closed from June to October for those renovations. A future phase of the project will bring a new multi-purpose venue that will be built into Clues Hall. Arts reporter Dave Lindquist from the IBJ has much more on the project, and you can find his story at InsideIndianaBusiness.com.
Here's what's making news around Indiana, brought to you by the Indiana Association of Realtors. Indiana's 21,000 realtors, the neighbors you know, the experts you can count on.
Lots to get caught up with in business news making headlines around the state. Here's Inside Indiana reporter Mary Rachel Redmond.
Well, Gary, we begin in West Lafayette and a finalized deal for South Korea-based chip manufacturer SK Hynix. The company will receive up to $458 million in federal CHIPS Act funding to build its nearly $4 billion semiconductor packaging facility at the Purdue Research Park. SK Hynix is the world's leading producer of high bandwidth memory chips. The 90-acre property is expected to open in 2028. More than 300 workers in Indiana are losing their jobs. With the RV industry taking a hit, Forest River in Elkhart says it's eliminating 160 jobs at 4 northern Indiana facilities. Forest River manufactures cargo trailers and RVs. And in Fort Wayne, UNFI, a food wholesaler, is ending its warehouse operations there, resulting in layoffs for more than 150 workers. UNFI provides a variety of grocery, health, and beauty products to retailers across the U.S. $1 billion. That's how much Japan-based Nippon Steel promises to invest in U.S. Steel's Gary Works if the company's proposed purchase of the Pittsburgh-based steelmaker goes through. The investment would secure U.S. Steel's flagship operation in downtown Gary, a mill that's been inactive since 2022. So far, leadership at U.S. Steel has been unresponsive to the proposed acquisition. Gary's population decline, coupled with increasing unemployment, means the U.S. Steel merger could signal the future of the city, which at its peak was home to more than 200,000. Today, only about 70,000 remain. The Arts United Center in Fort Wayne is now a nationally recognized historic site. The home stage of the Fort Wayne Ballet and the Fort Wayne Civic Theater is on the National Register of Historic Places with national significance. A $40 million expansion and modernization of the building is currently underway. Now to southern Indiana, where the Indiana Department of Natural Resources has acquired 4,000 acres of land in Sullivan County to set up what they're calling the Busseron Creek Fish and Wildlife Area. The permanently protected land will soon offer Hoosiers the opportunity for future recreational activities like hiking, fishing, and kayaking. DNR says it plans to set up hunting units, trails, and parking space. Busseron Creek Fish and Wildlife Area will open to the public sometime next year.
Dear children, welcome to my home.
A town whose name alone brings holiday cheer to millions. Santa Claus, Indiana. With attractions like Santa's Candy Castle and the famous Santa Claus Museum and Village, the magic of the season draws in crowds from all over. And it's the economic impact of these visitors that fuels much of the town's growth.
I think having a town named Santa Claus is a huge draw, of course, all year, but especially during the holidays. The impact that our tourism industry has locally on Santa Claus businesses is tremendous. We have a lot of small family-owned businesses who rely on the holiday traffic. They're making their activities and their events based off of these visitors during holiday weekends, and it's huge.
It's amazing how many folks know about Santa Claus, Indiana, around the world. It's the only post office with the name Santa Claus, so they get a lot of letters from the world.
I was going to say big economic impact for tourism, but again, that the postmark you can get down there really does attract interest from all over the globe.
Yeah, and really, it really lasts these small businesses, the dollars that are spent by visitors for the rest of the year.
Beyond the holiday season.
Yes.
All right, thanks, Mary Rachel. Well, next, got a hankering for wood-fired pizza, brunch, or maybe a taste for authentic Ukrainian dumplings and sweets? We check out Indiana's restaurants worth the drive when we come back.
How does something like this turn into this?
Well, Indiana's soon-to-be longest rail trail marking a major milestone. The Orleans section of the Monon South Trail officially opening this week. The former CSX corridor stretches from just outside New Albany, running northwest through Washington, Orange, and Lawrence counties, covering, get this, more than 60 miles. The Monon South expected to become a destination in Indiana, an experience worth the drive, much like Hoosier hotspots, like 1,000-degree pizza in Mount Summit in rural Henry County.
The dough that we use in our pizza is made in Italy. It's shipped here twice a week.
And pizza not the only thing on the menu. Yelp's Brittany Smith crisscrosses the state this week to sample Indiana's unique cuisine scene in this month's Trendiana.
Thanks, Gary. With the holiday season just around the corner, we wanted to hit the road to see 5 Hoosier spots that are worth the drive according to Yelp reviews. And we're kicking things off right here at Borage in Speedway, Indiana. This business just opened up earlier this year after much anticipation. It's a really fun spot. It's a trifecta of part cafe, part bakery, part market, so you can find it all under one roof, and you really want to spend a couple hours here. The Yelp reviews especially rave about their loaded biscuit bowl that's topped with scallions and cheese and rotating gravies and potatoes. The menu changes frequently with the season, so you'll want to come back and visit again to check it all out. And don't leave without visiting their bakery case. They have fabulous fresh pastries and breads. It's a really fun spot here in Speedway, Indiana. Next up, we're heading south to Columbus, Indiana to Alessia's Kitchen, which opened up in 2018 as a sit-down restaurant. And this spot is oozing with charm. From the minute you step inside, you'll see lots of warmth, not only from the space itself and the cozy traditional Ukrainian menu, but also from the staff. They're really helpful in walking you through the menu if you're new to Ukrainian cuisine. Some of the top dishes that stand out in the reviews include the cabbage salad that has cucumbers, herbs, and spices, as well as the chicken stroganoff. And don't leave without ordering the eye-catching Ukrainian clay pot, which is a hearty stew topped with a bread topping that's really shaped into flowers. It's beautiful. This is one of those places where you want to go and order a little bit of everything to share with your friends. Next up, we're heading north to the Early Bird Eatery in South Bend. This spot is on a mission to elevate the brunch experience in South Bend with some really fun and creative spins on brunch classics. All made in-house or locally sourced from fellow businesses in the community. And some of the dishes that you'll see standing out in the Yelp reviews include the blueberry lemon pancakes and the Early Bird breakfast, a good hearty classic. They're also known for both being family-friendly and ideal for vegetarian and vegan, so really welcoming to all crowds. And last but not least, you gotta check out their reservations and wait list on Yelp, so if you wanna claim a spot from your couch, you can do that without having to wait in line. Now we're hitting the road to Eastern Indiana for the 1,000-degree wood-fired pizza in Mount Summit. This one's really fun. You'll be driving through the countryside and then up pops a really fun and visual pizza joint along the side of the road. It started out as a 5-seater restaurant and blossomed into a 15 pizza plus menu with a dining room and patio. They've got fun vintage Americana decor and a great patio for the warmer months. And the Yelp reviews rave about the chicken bacon ranch pizza that's on their menu. So definitely worth a stop in Mount Summit. And last but not least on our trip throughout the state is Union Restaurant and Game Yard in Jeffersonville, Indiana. At Union, you can dine, drink, play, and view live concerts all under one roof.
The Yelp reviews love that you can get a fabulous burger, you can play in the arcade, you can play ping pong. There's really a little bit of something for everyone there. Just don't leave without ordering the flaming elote breaded corn bites on their menu. Folks can't get enough of those. So if you find yourself hitting the road for the holiday season or just looking to mix it up with family, these are a lot of great options. We hope this gives you all a little inspiration if you're hitting the road for the holiday season, or maybe you want to check out a new spot in your backyard. Hope you go check these out, Gary.
All right, Brittany, thank you for a great and very tasty tour around Indiana. That's all the time we have for this edition of Inside Indiana Business. Thanks for joining us. I'm Gary Dick. We leave you this week with Butler Blue, the fourth, and best wishes for a happy, joyous holiday season. Thank you for listening to the Inside Indiana Business Television podcast. Remember, you can get the latest business news from every corner of the state at InsideIndianaBusiness.com. I'm Gary Dick. Go out and make it a successful week.